Hello everyone, my name is Lynn, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Now, most of my videos are reaction content, and if you've watched any of that, then it's no surprise that I'm a fan of the Helluverse. One thing that I am not a fan of is how underdeveloped a lot of the side characters feel, which I understand. You know, you can't really delve into everyone's backstory in the span of a normal episode. So that's what we're going to do today. I have taken a handful of characters and made some of my own. And today we are going to flesh out the world of Hazbin Hotel. First off, we have these two characters from season 1. You might not recognize them because I'm pretty sure they only showed up in one episode in like 1 or 2 scenes, but I love them and I think they're super cute. I saw somebody on Instagram, I can't remember who it was for the life of me. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments. I saw somebody call them Carpe and Drapes, and I thought that was unbelievably hilarious. So, so that's what I have put on this little reference sheet I've made. That's not what they wanted to be called, but I mean, we know Valentino. He heard a name that started with a C and a name that started with a D, and he was like, Carpet and Drapes. And they were like, that's not even remotely what we want. And he was like, shh, don't worry about it. So that's that's kind of like what they get called around the tower. The one on the left is Carpet, and the one on the right is Drapes. They are virtually exactly the same. There's only one slight difference, and that is their eyes. Drapes looks a little bit more annoyed all the time. That's not canon at all. Canonically, they looked exactly the same, except for being mirrored. And I was like, that's cool. I can understand doing like the mirror twins trope, but I also like it when they're ever so slightly different. So like if you know, and you can see the difference. As you can see, I didn't really do much for these two. I wanted to, but I'm not sure where I want to go with them yet. So I mean, we've seen them work. They're Valentino's door women. They open doors for him. They make him feel like a little princess. Ugh, I hate that guy. Anyway, so I would say that they probably haven't been in very many films. Like, they haven't done a lot of the acting side of Valentino's industry. They've managed to avoid that thus far, and they are grateful for it. I like to imagine that, I mean, despite being very obviously twins and being, like, doing the whole mirror twins thing, they, like, loathe the whole, like... This is really hard to explain, but do you guys know how, like, if there are twins, there's, like, this big thing in the adult industry where it's like, oh, you could have both of them at the same time. They hate that. They hate that so much. So that's part... They loathe it with, like, the entirety of their being. They're like, hell no. And I like to imagine that Travis, who we'll get to later, has, like, come to them with a script before, and it had that trope in it. They're like, hell no, first of all. Second of all, frick you, man. They, like, essentially just refuse. They're like, no, that's not for us. Thank you. And I'd say that even in personality, they're mostly the same. Despite Drapes possibly being a little bit snappier and a little bit easier to frustrate. I'd say that other than those, like, minuscule differences, it's super, super difficult to tell them apart. And Valentino can't. Because he's an asshole. He doesn't even try. He's like, whichever one of you it is. Like, there is no attempt made here. Anyway, I'm still thinking about how I want to expand on them and what I kind of want to do with them. So if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Because I'm always thinking about the expanded Hazbin universe, as my brain has decided. And I'm always looking for new things to, like, piece together. So, okay, now we're gonna move on to, like, the Vee's assistants. Although I wouldn't necessarily describe them all as assistants. Like, for example, we're going to start with Travis, because he's the one I did the least for. Listen, I hate Travis, okay? I hate him so much. But I made his stupid little reference sheet anyways, as you can see. I don't look at it too close. I don't like it, but it exists. I figured out while making this that he's supposed to be a bird. Which, like, I guess I kind of see, but, like, he's a bird? What? He's a bird? Please tell me that somebody else didn't know that. Because I had no idea. Literally zero clue. I mean, like, looking at it now, I guess I kind of see it, like the feathery bottoms on his coat and stuff, but it's like, other than that, what are we looking at here? Also, I apologize that his proportions are atrocious, but that's just how he looks. Like, I can, in editing, maybe put up, like, the official, like, render. He has no bones. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway. Where was I going? Right, I was gonna talk about, oh my god. So with Travis, I don't think that he's Valentina's assistant. Like, not in the way that the other two are kind of assistants. I think that Travis is, like, kind of a head director and, like, does scripts sometimes. And he works closely with Valentino, but he isn't, like, Valentino's errand boy, you know? Like, he runs the studio when Val's not there, and he's, like, he kind of sucks and is the worst. I want to design his wife, actually, because we know from the pilot, which I guess is, like, soft canon now, but that he has a wife that he is actively cheating on. But I was thinking about designing her, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So if any of you guys have ideas, let me hear them, because I would love to design his wife. Who I imagine is, like, actually not that terrible of a person. I mean, it's hell, so, like, nobody's great. But I like to imagine that she's, like, chill. And Travis is just an asshole. I wanted to give him an alternate outfit, but what am I gonna do? You know, he's Travis. You know, I don't know what to do there. Like, I've said that a lot. Guys, oh my god, can you tell that I don't have a script for this? Totally not, right? Anyway, yeah, Travis, director, script writer, whore, I will say, spends most of his paycheck paying for prostitution, probably, and cheating on his wife, because he's a jackass. But, like, other than all of that, he's, like, an okay guy. He's not super fun to be around. He's, like, a little bit misogynistic, I think. Not, like, super misogynistic. He's not like, women can't have jobs or anything like that. But he'll be like, oh, well, like, yeah, obviously I do this well, I'm a man. You know, like, that kind of vibe. And it's for that reason that, like, Melissa doesn't super like him that much, but she puts up with him. Because some people call them, like, the Vees 2.0, and they're like, these, Ethan, Travis, and Melissa are all best friends. And I like the idea that they're all friends, but I don't see Melissa and Travis getting along well. Ethan and Travis, maybe. I'll probably get more into that when I talk about Ethan, which I'm going to do in a minute. I don't want to talk about Travis anymore. Can we please move on from Travis? Is that cool? I'm going to move on from Travis. He's lame. Okay, next is Melissa. I'm excited to talk about this one. I did 2 outfits for Melissa. The one on the left is one of the outfits we see her in season 1, and the one on the right is from that art of her and Velvet, and then we also see her wearing that outfit later in the season. Now you're probably thinking, wait, but Lynn, in that outfit she had a skirt on, and to that I say, yes, I didn't want to draw her legs. That's it. Sorry, I didn't want to draw her legs. I had a really fun time drawing her, though. I think she's so cute, and I really, really love her eyelashes. Like, they were super fun to draw. Now, I will say, I Emma, Velvet, and Melissa shipper. I know. How could I? But, like, come on. Come on. I mean, we've seen that Velvet does not have to touch somebody to change their outfit or do alterations on their outfit, but she chooses. She chooses to make contact with Melissa. Take that as you will. But I'm taking that as there's a little bit of fruitiness going on there. Anyway. Melissa, I think, is definitely... I think the job title of assistant fits her more than it does Travis. Although I think Melissa still does other stuff. Like, we see her stepping in to be a model in season 1. And I think that she probably does that often. And I'd like to think that Velvet picked her because Velvet was like, yeah, this is good. I like what you have going on physically. So it was kind of like an aesthetic attraction that brought Velvet into hiring Melissa originally, in my mind. But then Velvet also kept her around because she was like good at her job and didn't complain. I've seen some really, really cute Melissa comics, and then I've seen ones that are a little bit more like canon adjacent, and then those ones hurt me because like they make Velvet kind of a bitch, and I'm like, oh, she would be though, but it hurts. I just want my lesbians. Anyway, I like to imagine Melissa, she's not like as work focused as Ethan, but she's still, you know, she takes her job very seriously. And she takes her position very seriously, and she's very like devoted to Velvet. But if I was to like make a tier list, I guess, of like how motivated the assistants are, it would be like Ethan, who has no life outside of work, Melissa, who has a bit of a job, like a bit of a life outside of work, and then Travis, who like fucks around and does stuff. I don't see Melissa as being like much of a super like partier, but I think like if Velvet invited her to go somewhere, she would, you know? Like, she doesn't really go out on her own, but she likes to hang out. She likes, you know, she likes to go out sometimes, but she's not like a super club party girl. Can I talk about how much I love her ponytail? Like, it was kind of a pain to draw, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think I did it that much justice, but I think it's so fun. I think I love her design in general. I think that it's a little bit plain, maybe, but she's a background character, you know? You don't want to put a whole lot of detail into a background character because then it's so much drawing you have to do. But I think that despite being a simple design, she still manages to be really, really cute, you know, and fun. And I love drawing her eyes. Her eyes are so cute and fun. I'm not even talking about my headcanons anymore. Now I'm just talking about how cute she is. That's because I guess I don't really know what else I would say, you know? I think canonically I'd have to like do a little bit of photo bashing to figure this out. But I think Melissa is the tallest. Maybe. I know that Travis is the shortest. Like that's definitive. Travis is tiny. And then Ethan's like mid-screen height with Vox. I remember because I was thinking about trying to draw them together the other day, and then I gave up because listen, man, there's only so much motivation I have, you know? But I think Melissa, given her horns, is the tallest. Maybe. And I think she definitely gives, like, hot, tall girl energy. But not, like, men's size 13 Nikes type tall girl. Wow, did I really just bring that up? That was... Ooh. But I think she's definitely, like, really sweet, you know? She's generally kind of, like, a good person. She does her best to kind of get along with everybody, even if she doesn't like him that much. Travis. Like, she'll put up with his shit, but he's still Travis, you know? That's kind of all I really have for her. I'm still trying to figure out, like, more facets of who she is and, like, how she got with Velvet. So, headcanons? I'm listening. Okay. The last canon one. This is Ethan. Or, what was it that the fandom was calling him? Was it Papermint? I don't remember. But this is Ethan. This is Vox's assistant. And that is absolutely, like, he is Vox's assistant. You know, it's not like how Melissa is an assistant and model and, you know, and like how Travis is a director and writer and blah, blah, blah. No. Ethan is Vox's assistant. Like, he is completely dedicated and laser focused on that job to the point where it's a little bit pathetic. Oh, I'm sorry, Ethan. Oh, I'm being so mean to this poor guy. No, I love him. I love Ethan so much. I think his design is so silly. He's an eel, if you didn't know that. You can tell because of his tail. And I think that he's so cute and silly, as does a lot of the fandom, apparently. His reference was kind of hard to do, actually, because I say this with so much love for him. There's, like, no good angles of this man. He always, like, ooh, they do him really dirty in some frames, and then, you know, sometimes he just looks like he got hit by a bus. So, I did what I could. It's not great. I acknowledge that. I'm gonna try to get better at drawing him eventually, probably. But for now, I apologize about this sniffling. That was gross. This is my attempt. He's probably been working for VoxTech for, like, an ungodly amount of time. Like, it's kind of sad. This is the kind of guy who, like, always shows up to work early, always leaves late, volunteers for overtime, works holidays, like, the most pathetic thing you can imagine. And I'm really dragging this poor guy through the mud. No, I really do love him. It might not sound like it, but I think he's so silly. Oh, I'm so sorry, Ethan. Like, he is the epitome of, like, no life. No life, only job. That is Ethan. Like, if you've ever played, like, Job Simulator, which is, like, such a callback, but you know, when you work the office job, it's that's Ethan. To live is to job. That's kind of like his whole and what we have seen of him, he can seem like kind of assertive, but I don't think that's him all the time. You know, like Vox, after he spoilers, season 2 spoilers. After Vox kidnaps Alistair, he's like, get this studio clear, you know, Ethan's like, you heard the man, everybody get out. But I don't think he's like that all the time. I think that he's actually probably pretty jumpy and a little bit freaked out about, like, everything. Look at this guy and tell me he doesn't have anxiety. You can't. You can't. That's a man with anxiety. And I can relate. I also have anxiety. All the time. But I also feel like he gives kind of, like, overly eager to please energy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You know, like, he just wants to impress his boss. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can't imagine that goes well for him. Because Vox sees that and he's like, great. How far can I push this before you, like, actually die? So Ethan, oh, poor Ethan, is always working. Mountains of paperwork, doing taxes and sorting files and doing schedules and, like, everything. If Vox doesn't want to do something, he gives it to Ethan. That's kind of, like, the way I think about it, you know? Vox is like, man, I don't really feel like filing this report. Ethan will do it. And Ethan, who has already been working for like, you know, like 9 hours, is like passing out at his desk. It's like, oh, great. Great, another one. Yeah, I could do that. But he never says anything about it. Because he's like, no, if I say that I can't do it, what if he fires me? That's like his greatest fear. You know how like, sorry to bring this up, but like in Harry Potter, in the first book when Hermione's like, we could be killed or worse, expelled. Ethan's the type of guy to be like, we could die or worse, be fired. And everybody else is like, dude, you take your job too seriously. You need a life. And he's like, what's that? What's a life? But it eventually kind of becomes too much because, as we know, Vox in general is too much. And that's my segue into the next character. So let's get talking. Okay, finally, for the Vox Tech section, we have Syren. So obviously this is not a canon character. I designed Syren. This is my OC. She is Ethan's assistant, which, her job title. Sorry, no guys, I can make it through the joke without laughing, I swear. Her job title is assistant to the personal assistant, which, if that sounds kind of familiar to you, it's because it's an Office reference. Assistant to the regional manager instead of assistant, you know, it's, anyway. The work eventually kind of becomes too much for Ethan. It's just more than one guy can handle. And Syren, who was already working at Vox Tech, whatever, gets promoted, works as Ethan's personal assistant. Think about if Ethan's anxiety was multiplied by 10. That's kind of what Syren is. Like, this is the bundle of nerves of all time. I feel so bad for them. Then you might notice they have those little antennas on the top of their head. Those are radio antennas, and they work. So, you know, that's... she can hear radio frequencies from, like, walkie-talkies or the radio. And whenever that happens, they kind of, like, buzz. She's like, oh, shit. Because it just kind of, like, plays in her head. I don't know, you know how, like, when you have headphones in and you can hear something in your brain, but it's not really playing out loud? That's like that, kind of. Oh. It's not fun, because you can't turn them off, so it's just all the time. Always hearing something. Every second of every day. That's part of why she's so jumpy. It's because, like, you know, she always got something going on in her head. So if you, like, reach and touch her shoulder, she probably wouldn't even notice you're there until you touch her. She's like, what the? She doesn't swear, though. Much. She swears a little bit. I actually do cuss a little. Sorry. She, like, her and Ethan are the biggest no-lifers of Vox Tech. Like, they're there before everyone else every morning. They're the last ones to leave. They're, like, the busiest busybodies of all time. You will never catch Syren just, like, sitting down and taking a break. Much to their own detriment. Can we please get this girl a therapist? And probably some melatonin. I don't know the last time she had a good night's sleep. As you can imagine, it ain't easy working for Vox Tech. And, as Ethan's assistant, she not only gets the things that Ethan doesn't want to do, but the things Ethan's too busy to do. So, like, this message needs to be given to this person, or, you know, whatever. And she's, like, stupid meticulous about everything. Much to her own detriment. Like, she is one of the biggest perfectionists out there. If you're like, hey, could you get these schedules done? She would sit there and, like, organize them and make sure they're all, like, color-coded and everything before she hands them in. Which, girl, same, honestly. That's why this video took so long. Is because I was being a perfectionist about these stupid reference sheets. What I wanted to do was I wanted to do speed paints, and I wanted to have the speed paints up while I yapped, but I draw on my phone. Yeah, there's the reveal. I'm a phone drawer. I draw with my hand on my phone. So they were all like, the video format was weird and gross, and I just didn't want to deal with it. That's the truth, y'all. That's the truth. Anyway, I love Syren so much. I designed her a little while ago, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen her on my Instagram, or her Synstagram, because I did make one. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of obsessed with doing Synstagrams, and I want to make, when we get to the next section of this video, which will be as soon as I'm done with Syren, because she's the last one for Vox Tech. Oh, there's so many characters, like, all of the characters in the next section I want to make Instagram accounts for, but it's like, how many accounts is too many, you know? So I haven't yet, but I'm thinking about it. But don't tempt me, because I will do it, and I shouldn't. I don't have enough time on my hands for that. But, like, it would be cool. Anyway. Syren's been working for Vox Tech, like, since they got into Hell. Which, I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do for her timeline-wise. But I'm thinking she probably died sometime in the 80s, 90s. She's been working for Vox Tech for, like, 30, 40 years-ish. Poor thing. God, I could never. I don't understand how she has the patience. It's actually, solely because of fear and terror. Because she hasn't known life outside of Vox Tech in Hell. So it's like, if she loses her job or if she quits, what's she gonna do? Where is she gonna go? She is really, like, sweet, though, you know? She, for example, if she knows that, like, her and Ethan and Melissa and whoever are gonna get stuck in a meeting, she'll, like, get them coffee and stuff. Which she always remembers the orders. She has not quite like a photographic memory, but you tell her something once, she'll remember it forever. Which is surprising given all the shit going on in her brain all the time. It's like ADHD, but times a million. Which, girl, same. Oh my god, guys, I keep losing my train of thought. This is so embarrassing. Ah! Hold on. I'm gonna take a second to recollect myself. Okay, I'm collected, partially. Like, this is a girl who's never been anywhere. You'd be like, hey, girl, do you want to go to the casino? She's like, oh, I don't gamble. Hey, you want to go get a drink at the bar? I don't drink. Like, she's a loser. She's a girl failure. But in, like, the best way. And I love her for it. I really love drawing her because she always looks so, like, freaked out and startled. I might put a little bit more of her art, up on the video. But, like, I don't think I have a single drawing where she looks, like, calm and chill. And I would say I love that for her, but I don't. I feel really bad. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I've already been yapping for 7 minutes. So, next part of the video. I lied. This video is already, like 20 minutes. This video is already long time. And I don't want to edit all that. So, we're actually gonna do a part 2 for the next section of the video. And I will reveal now that the next video is going to be for some of the employees of the Magic Cat, which is the casino we see in Love in a Bottle. So if you're interested in seeing any of that, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and maybe hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. All right? Well, with that, I will see all of you next time. Bye, everybody!